I'm just going to begin by asking, what can we expect of the boys in this second outing?
I think you can expect 2% more maturity and all the laughs of the first one, hopefully, and all the big set pieces and all the one-liners and stuff. But maybe a little bit. Maybe they're just aging slightly in terms of maturity.
I think you'll see. I guess the idea of being Australia is about taking them outside their comfort zone, and so far that's been suburbia, and then that's been a European party island, and now it's just this is serious, big stakes. This is Australia, the other side of the world.
So I was wondering, because they are getting older and they do look slightly older, do you think that benefits the comedy side? Because in a sense, being older almost makes them slightly more pathetic in a way.
Yeah, well, I mean, just on a sort of pure comedic acting terms, I think we benefit from that because they get, they're like a fine wine. They get better with age, and I don't know. I think the die is already cast. Really, I think a lot of people, they'll always be, forever 17, won't they? These boys. I think that's kind of how a lot of people see it, I think.
I was wondering as well, I mean, the first film was a huge success and completely deserved as well. That must have been so great joy to you both. It must have really vindicated the whole kind of idea as well.
I think nothing that has happened with the Inbetweeners has been anything but wonderful for me. And people often say to me, I'll meet them at dinner or be out somewhere, and they'll say, you probably don't want to talk about it. I'm like, I will talk about the Inbetweeners forever because it's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm incredibly lucky. It's been so lovely that people love it. And the idea that many people saw the film as well was just sort of mind-blowing. So, yeah, it's been wonderful. There's nothing, there's not even a sort of tiny slither of anything negative I can think about, anything to do with it. And the surprise and the excitement of that doing so well was so great. And that's why I wanted to do more, really, because it's been brilliant.
So was it always the intention to perhaps do a sequel, or did it have to take the success of the first to make you realise, hang on a sec, this could work?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we always decided that the film was, the last rung on the journey, and it felt like the natural place to stop. I think because of the success that nobody saw coming, there was a huge responsibility to be thinking about doing another film, and we, felt like we're letting people down.
Yeah,
we killed them off. There wasn't any good reason to. We'd just taken them to the big screen, and it had worked. And to say that we're not going to do another one,
because it was funny seeing a lot of people
weird.
I think we thought that the first film, that if people who bought the DVD went to see it, then it would be fine, they'd like it, and we tried to make it for them, make it for fans. And actually, the first film, surprisingly for everyone, really got a lot of people who had not seen the TV series watching it for the first time. They went back to the TV series, and it was kind of those new fans that came to it that made us think, maybe we should do something else. Maybe we should have another go at it, and give them something else rather than just saying like this is the end of the story and you'll never hear a new joke out of Jay's mouth ever again.
And it worked in cinemas, didn't it? And that was the thing we kind of weren't really expecting is, there's something about watching it with 400 other people, a comedy. And I think what's been great about the whole success of the film was, the first film was, I think it's given British comedy movies a shot in the arm, and you get, it's great to be able to go to the cinema and see a great comedy and laugh along with people. And really, more often than not, we get American comedies. So it's been great, I think, we've got some British comedies coming through. I think that, doing it again seemed just to make sense.
So did you cater those kind of new fans in mind when you were making a second? Do you think about perhaps drawing more people in, or do you often go in with the mindset of this is for those who know the characters and love the characters?
No, I think with the first film, we always thought you need to be able to watch this film without knowing anything about the TV series. I think that there is obviously the occasional in-jokes that might be to do with some of the other characters, but really, I think our aim is to make sure it's all there. You kind of know, there's a shorthand and an economy in some of the lines and dialogue, and the setups of the film that should allow you to, buy into this world without knowing anything about what's happened before. I think it's harder with a sequel than it maybe is with the first film that we did, because there are some things you need to obviously reference.
Yeah, I think, but like the first film, I think this film was intended to stand alone if you'd never seen anything of the Inbetweeners before. But what we did do is we sort of went back to the first series quite a lot and looked at how we set that up, because that was the first time they were all in a new environment, the new environment being sixth form. This is them all being in another new environment, effectively not sixth form. So it was about looking at that and trying to make that work, I guess.
I mean, the Inbetweeners you've always sort of said as sort of loosely autobiographical to you both. I was wondering, have you ever been on a gap year then? Did you take any of your own experiences in that regard, or was this sort of new territory?
Well, for me, this was my gap year, so that's been fantastic. But
I was an exchange student in Australia when I was 15. I lived out there for 7 months with a family. So I knew Australia quite well, and I'd spent time in those gap year places. But I went travelling when I was 21. I went to South America with a friend of mine for 8 weeks, and that was kind of a lot of the things in here. A lot of the other characters, particularly the newer characters, are based on people that I met whilst I was travelling around South America.
I was speaking to the guys, it's a bit of a change of pace,
Yeah.
and they mentioned that you guys went to great lengths. Sorry, excuse the pun there, to create the perfect penises for each of them that would match the character at hand. I was wondering about that process.
I mean, they might have given us too much. No, we have pretty strict rules on the penises, and we look at them. We spend a lot of time. And Emma Scott, who's our amazing makeup designer, spent a lot of time talking to. There's like some man she knows who makes a lot of different penises. So we do spend a bit of time on the penises and the testicles. Perhaps more time than adults should, trying to work out the best ones.
I've got some good photos on my iPhone, which were just test shots to see how certain shots might look, involving one of the penis rigs and Iain. And I always forget they're on it because my children are often grabbing the phone to play Peppa Pig or things like that.
They are
but
bad.
I can't imagine what's going to happen when they one day
They're bad.
flip onto those. What is Uncle Iain doing?
But it's also just like my face has got. I was
Why is
deliberately
he-
pulling a kind of like
Yeah.
I'm sort of being tortured here face.
Yeah. So they've
just-
all been road tested. That's
Yeah.
what we can say about the perfect penises.
So just very quickly before I go, is this the end of the Inbetweeners now? And if so, that must be quite sad for you both to be sort of bidding farewell to it all.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting though. I think after the first film, I think we thought that would be the end of it, and it didn't feel like the right time. It felt too soon. Whereas this is the right time to say goodbye, and it is sad, and it'll hit us again in 6 months. I think like it did after the first film, being like this is the end of it. But this does feel like the right time, and so it's been absolutely incredible from start to finish, and nothing bad. So it's hugely grateful to everyone that's been a fan of the show because it's been brilliant. But sadly, this is it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.